Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to HobbyVolt. We're going to talk about the Tamiya sharp pointed side cutter for plastic, obviously. Anyways, they're nippers, and I decided to go ahead and talk about these because I was looking at like 8 million forums and all these different opinions that people have about what nippers are best when you're doing plastic model building, more specifically Gundams, which is what I do. So I decided to just go ahead and take a shot at the Tamiya, mainly because I didn't want to spend $60 for the God's Hand, and honestly, from what I've seen of all the other nippers that I've tried, no nipper is ever going to truly give you a nubless look. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, go ahead and comment in the comment section, because I would love to see a pair of nippers that doesn't leave any residue on plastic after you've cut it. Aside from an X-Acto knife, but that's not necessarily a nipper. But we're going to go ahead and talk about these because I was looking for an affordable option that could rival maybe that of the God's Hand. Anything that would actually work really well. I'll link the God's Hand as well. I do not have one, and I actually have never tried one, but maybe I'll go ahead and get one and test it, and we can see if they're just as good as a Tamiya. But yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about this Tamiya, and I'm going to actually use this plastic piece from my Strike Rogue that I'm working on, and I'll show you a couple of other nippers that I have, and we'll see what they leave behind. Okay, so let's take a look at this bad boy here. It's going to set you back about $26, which is much cheaper than it was several years ago. I'll have a link to Amazon so you can get it. I think it might be $28 now. It fluctuates. So try to watch it and try to get it for, about 26 bucks. So it says on the packaging, not that I can read Japanese, but the English translation that I got is that it's made out of quality chrome vanadic alloy and is hand finished for optimum sharpness. That comes from Tamiya themselves. So it's ideal, best they say, for removing delicate plastic parts from a sprue and or runner, whichever you want to call it. That's generally what I end up using it for. I actually have other cheaper nippers that I use to get rid of pieces or do the bulk of pieces until I get to a delicate piece. I've been using these for around probably, this is a new set, a couple of months, and as you can see it's still pretty sharp. I've done several kits with it, a Zero, a Senaju, Suzabi, Verka, a bunch of them. Anyways, so it's got a sharp point, as you can see, and the way that it sets is like that. So it's a little bit easier to control when you're cutting pieces off of your runner. Here's the back of it, Tamiya Craft Tools, and it's got a spring-loaded set in the middle there. And yeah, it actually separates. I'm not sure if that's a defect in mine or if most of them are like that. I imagine they're like that. The other set that I had was the same way. So yeah, so they have a really flush area that you can see here. It causes a good sharp cut, which you'll see here soon. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for that. Now let's get to the fun part. What I have here is a piece from my Strike Rogue. There are 3 nubs that I set. I went ahead and cut them off of the runner so that we could go ahead and do this test. Now, I don't suggest cutting this directly off the piece just because you can leave some whitening or marks. It's easier to just go ahead and sand them down or do it a various amount of other ways, which I'll make videos of those too. I have several different ways that I actually get rid of nubs. But we're going to go ahead and try 3 different sets of nippers that I have and see what they leave behind. Okay, so the first one that we're going to try is going to be this cheaper set that I got from my hobby store for, I think it was $8, maybe $9. It's got comfort grip. It's way different than the Tamiya. It's got this weird spring in the middle of it rather than like a coil spring. It's much chunkier, as you can see. When it comes to actually cutting the pieces off, I'm not a big fan of this one, because if you see here, you want to cut away from the piece. So you have that flat part right there, but it tends to crush the piece with how thick it is right here. So I generally use this one when I have a bigger piece that's got like a thicker attachment to the actual runner. So we're going to go ahead and try this and see what it looks like. So actually we're going to choose one of these. We'll have the one at the end here be the Tamiya. But alright, so we're going to try the right side here. And let's see if I can get this. I don't want to waste this. So you're going to hold it on the piece, and then we're just going to try to cut it. Alright. Actually, not too bad, honestly. There's a little bit of white, but it's nothing that I can't get rid of. There's the actual piece. Focus, please. No. Alright. So honestly, not bad. So there's a reason that I have this inside my kit here. So yeah. Great. The next nipper that we're going to try is going to be actually one of my favorites. It's actually decently cheap. Actually, hold on. I got this in a kit. The kit itself was, I think, like 20 bucks. But this is a Mr. Hobby. There's actually a newer version of it. I'll go ahead and link this one though, because this one really does the bulk of my work whenever I'm working on models. It kind of looks like the Tamiya. It's, I mean, not nearly as severe of, you know, like, I don't know. It's not the same as the Tamiya, but honestly, it does the bulk, like I said. So let's go ahead and see what it does here. Pretty flat. I actually really like this one. So I'll link this one too, because it's actually one of my favorites compared to the Tamiya. And then you just go like that. There's the plastic. Pretty similar, actually. You can see a little bit of the bulk. You know, I don't have a fancy camera, but let's try to focus on it here. That's the best that I can do for that. Not bad. You can see where the bulkier one, which here, we'll put it on this side so that we know, and then this side. The bulkier one left a little bit more. I mean, again, like I said, nippers aren't going to leave the best thing. The biggest part is that it didn't leave any gouges in our piece. Black is one of the harder pieces to not show, you know, you're going to see the nubs. But you see the chunkier one left a little bit. You can see a tiny, tiny bit there. And then my Mr. Hobby one barely left anything. I mean, still pretty good. So really, you can get one that's like $10, or you can get one that's more like $15, and they're going to have about the same effect. So let's go a little bit more, and we'll see what the Tamiya can do. Alright, time for the finale. We're going to go ahead and see what the Tamiya can do here. As you can see, compared to the other ones that I just did, it is clearly massively better quality. It just seems more substantial, a little bit better, and as far as like moving it, it just seems like you have a bit more control with this one. So, let's see what we can do here. So we're going to put the piece right here, and then we're just going to go like that. There we go. There's the piece. Alright, so again, it's honestly pretty similar to the Mr. Hobby. Again, it is a little bit difficult for me to actually do it when I have the camera so close. So you could probably get better results by sitting there and doing a technique that I kind of like to call whittling. Like you hold one blade to it and then you just keep going like this until it gets rid of the excess. Which again, you can do with that other nipper. So it kind of goes back to what I originally said though. I guess you can get about the same quality on any of these with, no, hold on. Alright, so this is the chunkier one right here. This one's the Mr. Hobby, which honestly did pretty well. And then, as you can see, that's the Tamiya. About the same quality as the Mr. Hobby. Not that much whitening on it. That's why I chose a black piece, so you could see it a little better. But obviously, you kind of get what you pay for. As far as comfort goes, even though the $7 or $8 one is supposed to be comfort grip, I actually prefer the smaller ones, maybe because I have smaller hands. But honestly, I think these two are pretty close to each other. But yeah, they're both really good. Come on, focus. So I would say these two are pretty similar. It's It's actually interesting. I've never put them side by side like that before. But yeah, these two are pretty good. It just depends on really what your preference is, what you feel comfortable with. If you just want to try like a good set that's a little bit more money than say like $15, you can go ahead and get this one for $26, $28, whatever it is on the market for. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. So there you go. And there you have it. That is the Tamiya along with the Mr. Hobby and another off-brand. Really, what you can take away from this is that really you just have to test a whole bunch of nippers until you can find one that you actually really like. I highly suggest the Tamiya for smaller, more delicate parts. The Mr. Hobby you can pick up for a little bit cheaper, and it's good for the bulk of everything that you're going to be doing in your model building. And then you can always get this trusty old cheapo model that will do good, but you might have to finesse a bit. As you can see on the part, it didn't get completely flush, mainly because I was afraid of gouging my part, because it's not really one that I like to use that close. So it could be argued that maybe I could get a little closer with this one. But again, really, there's a reason that most of us have several nippers at our disposal. I use all three of these religiously, so really you can just go ahead and start what you want. You can do just fine with this. For a long time, I just used my nails when I was doing model pieces. Not what I suggest, but it's much better to go ahead and just get the right tools and it'll help you out. So, you know, you can just grab a couple, you can try a couple, maybe you have a friend or someone that you can try it. But if you don't have a friend that you can borrow a set of nippers from, I would just go ahead and suggest just trying one out, seeing how you like it. Being very careful when you do your pieces, because no one wants messed up pieces. At least I don't. I like my models perfect as best as I can get them. And so, you know, it really is just based on it. Some people just want to build models just to see what they look like. Some people want to do it for perfection. Some people have to do it perfectly. Some people care if you have nubs, some don't. But really, at the end of the day, it's just based off of whatever it is that you really want to do and what your aim for your model is. So I hope this was helpful. I definitely needed this when I was looking for nippers along the way, and I hope that I helped a bit. If you have any suggestions for anything that you'd like to see from me or a review, I will gladly go ahead and, you know, check those out, so you can comment them below. And I'll leave all my links for my social media and everything. And I look forward to seeing you guys again. Thank you for all your support. Bye.
Multipass. Multipass.